Dan Henninger writes a column in the Wall Street Journal today called The Big Story. The Big Story. And he says the great political challenge of our time is sorting out what matters from what's just chatter. So I just played you a lot of stuff that right now is chatter. He says serious people would like to believe that something real in politics is going on, and the good news is something is. This past weekend, the Wall Street Journal published a series of stories titled Inside the Hottest Job Market in Half a Century. I read this. It was an entire section of the paper. He says, as far as I'm concerned, this job record is the story of the year. The journal's articles transformed a year of economic data into the new daily reality of getting paid to work in America. And here's a quote. All sorts of people who have previously had trouble landing a job are now finding work. Racial minorities, those with less education, and people working in the lowest paying jobs are getting bigger pay raises, and in many cases experiencing the lowest unemployment rate ever recorded for their groups. They are joining manufacturing workers, women in their prime working years, Americans with disabilities, and those with criminal records, among others, in finding improved job prospects after years of disappointment. Remember Obama saying you'd need a magic wand to bring these jobs back? Abracadabra. The unemployment rate for high school dropouts, a status many depressing books and studies show puts one close to the bottom of the barrel for getting ahead in America, is 5%. Unemployment rate among high school dropouts, 5%. Their median wages the past year rose 6%. He says, let's cut to the chase. This is Henninger. From left to right, socialist or conservative, most of a nation's political debates are ultimately about one thing, making life better for people. Whatever else that may mean, it first requires giving people something to do with their daily lives, a job, which is to say aspiration and opportunity. If what has happened inside the U.S. labor market the past 2 years doesn't qualify of the point of all this effort of politics, those of us in and around politics might as well pack it in. He says it takes a lot of work to ignore this, but the Democrats are doing this. And the problem is the press are the Democrats. The press are the Democrats. Now, listen, this is an amazing fact. This is an amazing thing. This is after 8 years of an Obama who could not even get a dead cat to bounce. Historically, after a crash like we had in 2008, the economy comes roaring back. There is a boom that corresponds to the bust. That was a big bust. It should have been a big boom. But Obama, with his healthcare, that idiot healthcare bill, with his regulations, with his hatred of business, with his misunderstanding of where wealth comes from, that it doesn't come from the ground up, it comes from the top down. And that's why we don't punish billionaires, because they spread the wealth. They do it by creating jobs. After 8 years of that, all Trump had to do, he didn't have to be a genius. All he had to do was the Reagan policy, cutting taxes, cutting regulations, letting letting business do what it does, letting America do what it does. That's all he had to do, and he did it, and it's been amazing. It is amazing. Changes people's lives, takes away their despair, takes away all kinds of their sense of being trapped. It means they travel. It means they create more wealth. It is an amazing, amazing thing. This is after Nancy Pelosi saying the biggest cause of wealth in America is unemployment insurance. No. Actually, the money comes from business. The money goes to people who work. They spend the money. If you don't take it away from them, they spend the money on other people who work. It's an amazing little system that we like to call capitalism, right? Listen, there are also problems. There is a tremendous spending problem in this country. There's a debt problem. The federal budget deficit is up 77%, which is huge. The debt is $22 trillion, which is up $2 trillion since Trump took office. You can't say, Trump is doing a bad job on this. He is, but who would take his place? I mean, if the Democrats take his place, they've got the Green New Deal, which basically is the deal is to erase all wealth, all business, all progress, so that, I don't know what, so that we can sit on the ground and tell old tales to each other while we, put tattoos on ourselves and hunt brontosauruses. I don't even know what the Green New Deal, what the upshot of the Green New Deal. So you can't count on them. And unfortunately, Trump He understands how the economy works, but he doesn't care about this, and he also knows the people do not want him to touch things like Social Security. The problem is, this is the problem in France too. You can't retire at 65 if you're going to live to be 80. You have to create enough wealth to pay for your own retirement. That is the way it works, because where else is it going to come from? You have to create enough wealth. So as our health has improved, as our lifespans have improved, as our active lives have improved, you got to work a little longer too. That means that's where the meaning of life comes from. You can't retire at 65 if you're going to live to be 90. It just doesn't work that way. You have to create the wealth you need for retirement. And this is all about entitlement spending. That's where the debt comes from. And Obama isn't doing it.